Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get.
Jack, how are you, my friend?
I couldn't be better.
Hey, I am excited to talk to you about a topic that you know a lot about. You've been an entrepreneur for over 6 decades, and we're talking about this topic of, are entrepreneurs born or made? So I want to start off with a big question. Hopefully this isn't too big of a one to get started with here, but it says, why did you want to be an entrepreneur? I mean, why did you personally, why did you want to become an entrepreneur?
Well, I could not define at that time what it was I wanted to be.
Okay.
I know I've been very fortunate that I have within me a lot of joy. I enjoy a lot of things. There's many things that I enjoy. But to get into the specifics of wanting to become an entrepreneur, I'd say I'd start with the fact that who I was. The realization from an early age, being brought up in a community which was totally filled with immigrants who weren't born native stock or anything else, each coming with different ideas of what this country was like, and you'll be amazed. But the thing that I found, I was very grateful that I was born in the United States, where I have opportunity. Because more than being an entrepreneur, I think I've described myself as an opportunist.
So do you feel like that one of the reasons why you decided to become an entrepreneur is because you are an innate opportunist, or is that a decision that you made?
No, it's a talent. It's what's within me. The desire to, I guess there's a certain amount of orneriness in me that maybe rebels at stupid orders.
Okay.
Or has a feeling, gee, I don't really want to do this. And if I really don't want to do it, I just wind up not doing it. But I found that running my own show, and I say show to include the whole world,
okay,
not just business, my personal approach is very entrepreneurial. I believe that I have opinions on certain elements, and those are my opinions, but I'm very strong with them. I remember many times I would come up with a policy, and someone says, they're not going to like that. I said, that's not my problem. I'm not trying to please the world, because anybody that tries to please the world winds up pleasing nobody. And so I really was happy with the fact that in fact, I'd say the happiest part of my entire career was when I made all the decisions, and I made them anytime I wanted to. And if they worked, great, and if they didn't work, I'd pick myself up and go for the next one.
What motivated you to become an entrepreneur? Was it this idea that you could control your own destiny, or what was your big motivation?
My first motivation is not to be poor.
Okay, all right.
I always felt that I had a very interesting opinion on money from an early age, considering the fact that my family had so little of it. And although I don't think I could have described it that way at the time, but that's what I felt. Being able to have enough wealth to give yourself options to do the things that you really want to do. So the first object was, frankly, to go from rags to riches.
Okay.
That was it, pure and simple.
Yeah.
I liked ice cream sodas, so I wanted to buy an ice cream soda, since at that point in my life I never worried about what my weight was. I wanted to buy them when I wanted to buy them, and I wanted to have them when I wanted to
So in your
have
mind,
them.
had you kind of arrived when you could buy ice cream sodas whenever you wanted? Is that like a first milestone?
Yeah, a form of that. Let me put it differently. It changes, but it's always the same theme. I remember maybe 50 years ago, I had a wonderful friend who could not get over how many hours a day I worked or how hard I worked. And he would say, "Why are you working this hard?" I said, "So I don't have to do it when I get older. And I don't know whether I'll be able to do it when I get older. So I want to have the option," at that word I could use the word option, "of going whatever direction made the most sense for me." I have never appreciated that decision more than I do now, 50 years later, because I have arrived at a healthy age. I'm 91 years old.
Yeah.
I can't do everything by myself, but I can afford to do the things that most of everything I like to do. I can't play golf anymore. I loved golf. I love many things, but I can write. I can talk. I can use the latest gadgetry or the latest technology, and I think it was all put there. So the idea of earning the money gives me the option to do what I want now. I'm not dependent on anybody. I would hate to be out there, as so many of my friends were or are, and they have to make a choice between medicine and food. There should never be that kind of choice.
Yeah.
You should always be able to get what you need. So the idea of being independent, being self-disciplining, being self-motivating,
Yeah.
is really
Well, this
really
kind
what it is.
of ties into this, because what did you get? I mean, if you look back at your career, now obviously you have your independence now at the age of 91, but obviously you were 20, you were 30, you were 40, you were 50, and you were really into your I mean, you were succeeding as an entrepreneur in your early 20s.
Right.
What did you, if you look back, what did you get out of being an entrepreneur, or some of the fruits that you got out of all this hard work you put into it?
I came out of the Air Force. I had been in danger. I had been under discipline. I had been, I don't know what I hated worse, going on, shooting at or being shot at, as much as being told what I have to wear today. Because they posted the uniform of the day. You had the food of the day. Everybody ate the same thing. I don't have the same taste everybody else has. So the freedom of being able to make your own choices, to me was really big. And then something that I learned along the way is the act of being successful was fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was like going to a good show and getting the right ending. It was just fabulous. So there was nothing that I did that as a matter of fact, I think I must have made a few enemies along the way who get irritated because I sort of put a funny twist on everything.
Yeah.
Like I think I mentioned when the Italian government told me I was breaking the law, and I said I didn't think it was against the law to lose money. So this was just a little touch of humor, but it eased any of the. There was no pain. There was no pain. Okay, you can't be here. You got to go. How are we going to get to go somewhere? Wait a minute. We can't go. We can't just go when we want to. Singer sewing machine down the street tried to leave, and the workers came in and sat there, and they lost millions of dollars while they couldn't do anything. Let's steal our own company. And the fact just broke me up. I started to laugh, and I actually went to the and hired French longshoremen and
Did you?
trucks and
What about? Let me ask you this, because if I look around here, I mean, you live in Santa Barbara. It is
Yes.
just beautiful. You know, you've
Yes.
got kind of like I know you don't care, but we live in a kind of a celebrity world where people go, oh my gosh, I can't believe your neighbor's this person or that person, or beautiful mountain view right by the ocean. In terms of, because I definitely agree you've enjoyed the freedom and the fun, and that's what in my mind matters the most, but you've also been able to enjoy some awesome homes and some great restaurants and some unbelievable...
I can't even express it. You started to do it. I've traveled around the world, and if I had my choice of anywhere to live, it would be right here. Under the circumstances that I do live. So what choice I would have made then is what I am living, and what I am living now. So, but that also came with its with that wonderful journey.
Yeah.
And to me, the journey has to be as much fun or more fun than the destination. And I remember the first time I went to France. And as a matter of fact, this is the time of year that they have the French Film Festival. And I was there in the middle of the French Film Festival. I knew a lot of people there. I was able to go to a few of the functions. I met some of the people. I met movie. I couldn't believe it. I said, here I am sitting on the Croisette, having a brandy, and you know, I'm just a poor kid from the Bronx.
Well, you did some other stuff that blows my mind too. I mean, there's countless things, and in your book, The Evolution of an Entrepreneur, people can get a better idea of some of those. But President Reagan asked you to be part of a task force to go over to Japan and talk to these guys about the trade imbalance and figure out how we could work together.
That was one of the great surprises, which I, to this day, do not understand. I don't know where he found me. I was not active in any Reagan campaign. The closest thing that I can come to it is I did meet his manager when he was an actor and played golf with him, and we had some fun together. And I said, you mean this guy really wants to be governor of California? And he said, don't underestimate him. He's smart.
When you made, your promotional company made shirts for the movie Jaws. You launched the Dare campaign with all their promotional items. I mean, there's just your career has been so rich with different accounts and projects you've worked on. I mean,
I can't begin to tell you. Sure, innovating, making T-shirts for Jaws, but it was more of a charge starting a complete program for DARE, which is the Drug Abuse Resistance Education, and starting an entire promotional campaign, which included T-shirts and uniforms and caps and all kinds of things, and found a way that part of the money went to DARE to support their activities. So first I saw the physical evidence. That's my shirt he's wearing.
yeah.
You know, and I saw the fruits of the labor, that kids that were dope addicts or were having a tough time were being brought into a healthy circumstance with sporting activities and with socialization and with the disappearance of gangs and stuff like that. That was very very good for me.
Looking back on it, did you feel like that did your career come up to your expectations? Did your evolution as an entrepreneur, did your journey meet your expectations?
I never had expectations. I can't tell you that.
Okay.
I could not have defined. I expect to do this. I expect to work with a nonprofit that's helping kids. That was never like people would say. Did you feel like your company that you started, just you and your wife, would become this big or this active or this well known? No, of course I didn't. I had no idea. However, on the broader scale, I never questioned the fact that I would be successful. I didn't know what course it would take.
Yeah.
It wasn't laid out. If you're a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer, you know where you're going. When you're an entrepreneur, you say, here I am, world.
Well, there's one thing that you're hitting on, and I'm paraphrasing, and it's dangerous to do that, but Gandhi talks about if you're going to become successful, first it starts with the belief, which it sounds like you have.
Right, absolutely.
And then once you have a belief, it starts to affect the words you say. And once it affects the words you say, then it begins to affect the actions you take, and then it goes from those actions into those habits, and from those habits into those results, and into the values, and then that's how you get there. And it sounds like every entrepreneur that we've had the pleasure of interviewing on Thrive 15, all of them have this core belief. I think that's something that, what would you say to somebody right now who has a little bit of doubt, for whatever reason, they want to do something big, but they have a little bit of doubt? A little bit of doubt. What would you say to them?
I would say, bring your doubts out to the front. Face them squarely and see how you can conquer them. I've had the pleasure of mentoring a few people who I was instrumental in putting on a completely different track. One guy was a wonderful entertainer. He is now a media consultant.
That's amazing.
Great, and very busy. Had never been better off financially and happy as can be. And they never thought he could be if he wasn't sitting behind a piano and singing to an audience. But he's training 14 of our Congress people how to testify in Congress. I think that's pretty good.
Hopefully you can train all the Congress people too. Just kind of fix that whole thing while he's there. Is that something you're going to do as well?
Well,
fix that
you learn not to try to fix something that's unfixable.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, you can't tell what route the fix is going to take. It's today. I have no idea. I consider myself as expert in business as anybody, but the turns and twists that our world is going to take in the business world is ideal for people who train themselves and are equipped to and are good entrepreneurs.
What are some of the, you mentioned it briefly, but what are some of the fringe benefits of being an entrepreneur? Some of those things where, you're an entrepreneur, for somebody who's never been an entrepreneur, and they're kind of going, well, what are the perks here? I'm kind of looking around. I think I might want to be an entrepreneur. What are some of the perks that go with being an entrepreneur? Some of the little fringe benefits.
The first one is freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Free to do what you want. You're not answerable to anybody else. If someone said to me, people are not going to like what you say, I say, I'm not running for mayor. It's okay. I don't. It's not my problem. That's their problem, isn't it? I'm doing what's best for you, for me, and my family and my company. And incidentally, one of the things that I did consider always, that my company was part of my extended family. That I was not one person going to work and another person going home. You got the same guy whether you like him a lot or not, whether it was flying to some crazy destination or just enjoying a relaxing evening.
Freedom's a big thing, though.
Freedom to say yes, freedom to say no, freedom to resist what you don't want. I very frankly there are certain kinds of businesses that people tried to persuade me to go into. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, not because it couldn't be profitable, but it just was not something I would enjoy, and I would not do it. And I believe in I think it's the number 2 oath of Hippocrates, which is do no harm.
So you like the ability to have the freedom to say, this doesn't align with my values, I don't want to do it. This doesn't align with my schedule. This might harm somebody, I don't want to do it.
But it's not my responsibility to correct it.
Okay.
I had a guy work for me, wonderful person, intelligent, almost brilliant, but he had a drinking problem. And we couldn't have lunch before he had 3 martinis. And I said, you can't operate this way, just one. You can, but not with me. It doesn't work because I can't count on what I'm saying being executed. And finally, we came to a very friendly parting of the ways because I was not going to live with that, nor did I expect him to live to my standards. If a guy says, I knew a guy like this, I love to drink, I'm going to drink until it takes over, whatever. He was also, I love to gamble, and I'm going to gamble. Loved him, played golf with him, had a wonderful time. He was not my buddy, I never went out with him. My object was never to get drunk. See, the thing that people skip is my object was not to get drunk. If having a drink led to my having a great time, then that's part of the picture. But the object is not drinking, the object is to have fun.
Well, let me ask you this here. This is a tough question. Who should not be an entrepreneur and who should be an entrepreneur?
That's really a very good question, and it's a hard discussion sometimes. I've had a number of them. There are certain people that should not be entrepreneurs, not by talent or intelligence, but by temperament. But they'd like to do how strong their comfort zone, what is going to motivate them to do things. Some people before, like someone says to me, how do you teach someone how to sell? I said, you take them out and sell. It's the only way.
Yeah.
And the guy came back to me and said, well, I gave such a good sales pitch today. Yeah, you should have been there. I said, where's the order? He said, well, that's coming. I said, when you get the order, let's talk about how good your sales pitch was. I mean, it's always with a sense of realism. So the whole broad question of being an entrepreneur takes all that in and says, yes, you're going to be disappointed sometimes. Yes, the stuff is going to foul up. And as it turned out, I think I learned more or as much from the places where I failed than where I made the big successes.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm going to attempt to extrapolate what you said and kind of break it down here, because I think there's 2 big things you just hit on. Is if I am basically somebody who has a high stress tolerance and I have a low comfort zone, like I could live under a bridge or in a van down by the river, or I could live in a mansion, maybe that entrepreneurship is not, maybe entrepreneurship is for me. If I have if I have a high stress tolerance and I don't mind being out of my comfort zone, maybe.
Well, I think the key in whether you should be an entrepreneur or not is after I've had some of these sessions and the guy has given all the right answers and very intelligent, I come back and my wife would say, how did it go? I say, it's not going to happen. He's not going to make it. I suggested that he try, but be tolerant and keep his options open, because he did not have You know, most of the time when you try to sell somebody something, or you try to project a new idea, what you're going to do is take a lot of people out of their comfort zone.
Right.
Now, an entrepreneur who's really an entrepreneur is used to being out of his comfort zone. He's not always comfortable.
And you and your wife built the business together, so she was out of her comfort zone too, right?
Oh, sure. But you see, when we're together, my wife and I are a team.
Yeah.
And she may say things that I don't agree with or don't like, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But I respect what she has to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll say, hey, I'm never going to argue about what should go into this pie,
Yeah.
or how this should be served, or what kind of decoration to put in, because I have no vision, I have no sight, I can't see a thing that's not in front of me. Don't argue with me about what's going to work in the business world. I mean, I could be wrong. I certainly could be wrong, but I know, and what I'm saying is backed up by years of trial and error.
Yeah.
Some things do work and some things don't. Some things work sometimes, and it depends on who your audience is.
Well, you have this book here that I have called The Evolution of an Entrepreneur, which is just a phenomenal read. And one of the great joys of the book is you put your 50 best tips. And I really think, if we're being honest, you probably have 5,000 tips, and it was probably impossible to choose 50, so you probably had to whittle it down. But this is awesome. And what I want to do is kind of a lightning round. I want to hit on some of the tips that really jumped out to me. Now, just for the record, all of them have jumped out to me. But just for the sake of time and space and just, I want to ask you some of these big ones here. So tip number 1, you say, self-motivation is the key to success and will achieve powerful results. Again, you say tip number 1, self-motivation is the key to success and will achieve powerful results.
Right.
What do you mean, my friend?
I mean that when you are self-motivated and you are going to get that job done, and you have all the encouragement in your own mind and in your own psyche to do it, and if you can keep that high going, despite there's no new idea that you're going to state that people won't give you 100 reasons why it won't work. And that's okay, that's valid. Listen to them. However, you overcome most of them. And motivating yourself to do it is really, some things are difficult for people, and they need this strong power of motivation. People hate to make sales calls, they get nervous. Just like, I know I've met great actors who get sick every time before they go on.
Yeah.
Physically get sick, but they overcome that.
I think that entrepreneurs really do understand trade-offs. As an example, my wife and I, we started our first business. At Walmart, they have the gourmet section. It's called the budget gourmet, which is kind of an oxymoron, but it's the food that was under $1, so 97-cent chicken panini. And I remember every week buying 21 of those things and literally eating it every single meal, and then having no air conditioning, and then working all the time and being happy as could be, because I knew we were going somewhere. I knew we were going to get there. Didn't know how long it was going to take, but we were able to kind of make that trade-off. And in your career, you've done that countless times. But I think, if you're motivated, let's say, but you can't understand that concept of trade-offs, because you just said people are going to tell you 50 reasons why you can't do it. And
That's
so
right.
The trade-off of being an entrepreneur is you have to deal with 50 people saying you can't do it.
That's correct.
Or you have to maybe cut a budget here.
And I've had a number of heart-to-heart talks where I genuinely felt that I would doing this person a disservice to tell them to keep punching in there. You'll make it. Some people just don't have that.
Well, Andrew Carnegie, he was the the guy who made tons of money in the steel business, obviously.
Yes.
But he talks about in his book, The Gospel of Wealth, he says that people who cannot motivate themselves beyond mediocrity, or beyond, who basically can't self-motivate themselves, basically must accept mediocrity, is the paraphrase. But the idea is that if you cannot motivate yourself, you have to accept mediocrity. Would you agree with that?
Very much.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Now, tip number 17, this tip is phenomenal. And again, the other tips before it are great too. I'm just trying to hit on some highlights. But tip number 17, it says, perceived value is what sells. Real value is what repeats. That blows my mind. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Here we go. Perceived value is what sells. Real value is what repeats. Go.
I could just explain that in the form of something very common. If you like steak, someone comes to you with a steak on a sizzling platter, and that odor is coming up, and that perception of that steak is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And you dig into it, but when you dig into it, maybe the meat is not quite that good, or a little mealy, or what have you. The real value is to have the sizzle, to have that wonderful presentation, but underneath it, you need a good steak.
It kind of sounds like my experience with politics. The candidate, you think the candidate's going to be the guy, and then the sizzle, and then you take a bite into it and you go, oh. Yeah.
I've been too realistic for that, although I have met a number of politicians, and I think that some of the tragedies that have happened with this great anticipation is a great loss to the country. I think certain people are beyond duplication.
Mm-hmm.
All right, JT, so hypothetically, in your mind, what is the purpose of having a business?
To get you to your goals. So it's a vehicle to get you to your destination.
Whoa. And would you need profits to get there? I mean, is when you have a business that's successful, in your mind, in your expert opinion, would you need profits to get you to your goals?
Yeah, because if you have a $15 million business, but you have $15 million of expenses, it's kind of pointless.
Holy crap!
All right, so the question I would have here for you, if you could take, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or less and see if you could save $3,000 a year by reducing your credit card fees, would you do it?
Yes, absolutely.
Holy crap!
Why would somebody out there who's listening right now who has a sane mind, why would they not go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card to schedule a 10-minute consultation to see if they can reduce their credit card fees by at least $3,000 a year.
Why would they not do it?
Yeah, why would they not do it?
Maybe because they didn't understand how you said the website.
The tree is a symbol of the spirit of the Griswold family Christmas.
No, that's clear. Okay, so that could be true. So I would encourage everybody to check out thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card, thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. What would be another reason why someone would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save $3,000 or more on credit card fees?
Maybe they think it is a waste of time and that it won't. It's not possible.
There's somebody out there that's making more than $3,000 every 10 minutes, and they're like, nah, that's not worth my time.
We getting there, right money. We getting there, right money.
There's probably someone out there that would think that.
Well, I'll just tell you, folks, if you're out there today and you're making less than $3,000 per 10 minutes, I would highly recommend that you go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card because you can compare rates, you can save money. And, you know, the big goal, in my opinion, of building a business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And in order to do that, you have to maximize your profits.
Holy crap!
Now, one way to maximize your profits is to increase your revenue. Another way to do it is to decrease your expenses.
It's a profit deal. It takes the pressure off.
JT, is there any other reason why somebody would not be willing to take 10 minutes to compare rates to see if they could save a total of $3,000 a year on average?
I am at a loss and I cannot think of any other.
Shampoo is better. I go on first and clean the hair. Conditioner is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth. Oh, really, fool? Really? Stop looking at me, Swan.
Well, let me tell you a good story here real quick here. I actually, years ago, compared rates with this company here called IPS. It's Integrated Payment Services. And I scheduled a consultation. I don't know that I was skeptical. I just thought, whatever, I'll take 10 minutes. I'll compare rates.
I can't tell.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No, I mean, I'm just not sure.
Or can't you take a guess?
Well, not for another 2 hours.
You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
And in my case, my particular case, I save over $20,000 a year.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Which is, like groceries when my wife goes to the organic stores.
Find everything you need today?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Oh, God. No.
Everything okay, ma'am?
It's just that you've only scanned a few items and it's already $60. I'm so scared.
Okay, I'm a trained professional, ma'am. I've scanned a lot of groceries. I need you to stay with me.
It's just that my in-laws are in town and they want a charcuterie board.
Well, this isn't gonna be easy, so I need you to be brave, all right? What's your name?
Patricia.
Trisha, all right. I need you to take a deep breath. We're about to do the cheese.
That's the difference between eating organic and not organic. So because my wife eats organic, I had to take the 10 minutes needed to compare rates to save the $20,000 a year on credit card fees just for one of my companies.
One question. What's the brand name of the clock?
The brand name of the clock, Rod. Do we have it? Brand name of the clock. It's an elegant from Ridgeway. It's from Ridgeway.
Let's
buy the clock
and sell the fireplace.
So I encourage everybody out there, go to thrivetimeshow.com/credit-card. You schedule a free consultation, request information. A member of our team will call you. They'll schedule a free consultation. It should take you 10 minutes or less. And then they're going to compare rates and see if they can't save you more than $3,000 a year off of your credit card processing.
You were hoping what?
I wouldn't owe you money at the end of the day.
No, you don't owe us money.
Because at the end of the day, the goal of the business is to create time freedom and financial freedom. And in order to do that, you need to create additional profits.
The number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year. We are Jared and Jennifer Johnson. We own Platinum Pest and Lawn and are located in Owasso, Oklahoma. And we have been working with Thrive for business coaching for almost a year now.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to share some wins with you guys that we've had by working with Thrive. First of all, we're on the top page of Google now. Okay. I just want to let you know what type of accomplishment this is. Our competition, Orkin, Terminex, they're both $1.3 billion companies. They both have 2,000 to 3,000 pages of content attached to their website. So to basically go from virtually non-existent on Google to up on the top page is really saying something. But that's come by being diligent to the systems that Thrive has, by being consistent and diligent on doing podcasts and staying on top of those podcasts to really help with getting up on with their listing and ranking there with Google.
And also we've been trying to get Google reviews, asking our customers for reviews. And now we're the highest rated and most reviewed pest and lawn company in the Tulsa area. And that's really helped with our conversion rate. And the number of new customers that we've had is up 411% over last year.
Wait, say that again. How much are we up?
411%.
Okay, so 411% we're up with our new customers. Amazing.
Right. So not only do we have more customers calling in, we're able to close those deals at a much higher rate than we were before. Right now, our closing rate is about 85%, and that's largely due to, first of all, like our Google reviews that we've gotten people really see that our customers are happy, but also we have a script that we follow. And so when customers call in, they get all the information that they need. That script has been refined time and time again. It wasn't a one and done deal. It was a system that we followed with Thrive in the refining process, and that has obviously the 411% shows that system works.
Yeah. So here's a big one for you. So last week alone, our booking percentage was 91%. We actually booked more deals, more new customers last year than we did the first 5 months, or I'm sorry, we booked more deals last week than we did the first 5 months of last year from before we worked with Thrive. So again, we booked more deals last week than the first 5 months of last year. And it's incredible. But the reason why we have that success is by implementing the systems that Thrive has taught us and helped us out with. So.
Some of those systems that we've implemented are group interviews. That way we've really been able to come up with a really great team. We've created and implemented checklists. That way everything gets done and it gets done right. It creates accountability. We're able to make sure that everything gets done properly, both out in the field and also in our office. And also doing the podcast, like Jared had mentioned, that has really, really contributed to our success. But that, like I said, the diligence and consistency in doing those and that system has really, really been a big blessing in our lives. And also, it's really shown that we've gotten the success from following those systems.
Yeah. So before working with Thrive, we were basically stuck. Really no new growth with our business. And we were in a rut and we didn't know.
The last 3 years, our customer base had pretty much stayed the same. We weren't shrinking, but we weren't really growing either.
Yeah, and so we didn't really know where to go, what to do, how to get out of this rut that we're in. But Thrive helped us with that. They implemented those systems. They taught us those systems. They taught us the knowledge that we needed in order to succeed. Now it's been a grind. Absolutely, it's been a grind this last year. But we're getting those fruits from that hard work and the diligent effort that we're able to put into it. So again, we were in a rut. Thrive helped us get out of that rut. And if you're thinking about working with Thrive, quit thinking about it and just do it. Do the action, and you'll get the results. It will take hard work and discipline, but that's what it's going to take in order to really succeed. So we just want to give a big shout out to Thrive, a big thank you out there to Thrive. We wouldn't be where we're at now without their help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Moore. I'm a pediatric dentist. Through our new digital marketing plan, we have seen a marked increase in the number of new patients that we're seeing every month, year over year. 1 month, for example, we went from 110 new patients the previous year to over 180 new patients in the same month. And overall, our average is running about 40 to 42% increase month over month, year over year. The group of people required to implement our new digital marketing plan is immense, starting with a business coach, videographers, photographers, web designers. Back when I graduated dental school in 1985, nobody advertised. The only marketing that was ethically allowed in everybody's eyes was mouth-to-mouth marketing. By choosing to use the services, you're choosing to use a proven turnkey marketing and coaching system that will grow your practice and get you the results that you're looking for. I went to the University of Oklahoma College of Dentistry, graduated in 1983, and then I did my pediatric dental residency at Baylor College of Dentistry from 1983 to 1985.
Hello, my name is Charles Kolaw with Kolaw Fitness. Today I want to tell you a little bit about Clay Clark and how I know Clay Clark. Clay Clark has been my business coach since 2017. He's helped us grow from 2 locations to now 6 locations. We're planning to do 7 locations in 7 years and then franchise. And Clay has done a great job of helping us navigate anything that has to do with like running the business, building the systems, the checklists, the workflows, the audits, how to navigate lease agreements, how to buy property, how to work with brokers and builders. This guy is just amazing. He's this kind of guy has worked in every single industry. He's written books with like Lee Cockrell, head of Disney, with the 40,000 cast members. He's friends with like Mike Lindell. He does Reawaken America tours where he does these tours all across the country where 10,000 or more people show up to some of these tours. On the day-to-day, he does anywhere from about 160 companies. He's at the top. He has a team of business coaches, videographers, and graphic designers and web developers, and they run 160 companies every single week. So think of this guy with a team of business coaches running 160 companies. So in the weekly, he's running 160 companies. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's doing Reawaken America tours. Every 6 to 8 weeks, he's also doing business conferences where 200 people show up, and he teaches people a 13-step proven system that he's done and worked with billionaires, helping them grow their companies. So I've seen guys from startups go from startup to being multimillionaires, teaching people how to get time freedom and financial freedom through the system. critical thinking, document creation, putting it into organizing everything in their head to building it into a franchisable, scalable business. Like one of his businesses has like 500 franchises. That's just one of the companies or brands that he works with. So amazing guy, Elon Musk kind of like smart guy. He kind of comes off sometimes as socially awkward, but he's so brilliant and he's taught me so much. When I say that, like Clay is like, he doesn't care what people think when you're talking to him. He cares about where you're going in your life and where he can get you to go. And that's what I like him most about him. He's like a good coach. A coach isn't just making you feel good all the time. A coach is actually helping you get to the best you. And Clay has been an amazing business coach. Through the course of that, we became friends. I was really most impressed with him is when I was shadowing him one time. We went into a business deal and listened to it. I got to shadow and listen to it. And when we walked out, I knew that he could make millions on the deal. And they were super excited about working with him. And he told me, he's like, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to turn it down because he knew it was going to harm the common good of people in the long run. And the guy's integrity just really wowed me. It brought tears to my eyes to see that this guy, his highest desire was to do what's right. And anyways, just an amazing man. So anyways, impacted me a lot. He's helped navigate anytime I've got nervous or worried about how to run the company or, navigating competition and an economy that's like, I remember we got closed down for 3 months. He helped us navigate on how to stay open, how to get back open, how to just survive through all the COVID shutdowns, lockdowns.
I'm Rachel with Tip Top Canine, and we just want to give a huge thank you to Clay and Vanessa Clark.
Hey guys, I'm Ryan with Tip Top Canine. Just want to say a big thank you to Thrive 15. Thank you to Make Your Life Epic. We love you guys, we appreciate you, and really just appreciate how far you've taken us. This is our old house, right? This is where we used to live a few years ago. This is our old neighborhood. See, it's nice, right? So this is my old van and our old school marketing, and this is our old team. And by team, I mean it's me and another guy.
This is our new house with our new neighborhood. This is our new van with our new marketing, and this is our new team. We went from 4 to 14, and I took this beautiful photo. We worked with several different business coaches in the past, and they were all about helping Ryan sell better and just teaching sales, which is awesome, but Ryan is a really great salesman. So we didn't need that. We needed somebody to help us get everything that was in his head out into systems, into manuals and scripts, and actually build a team. So now that we have systems in place, we've gone from 1 to 10 locations in only a year.
In October 2016, we grossed 13 grand for the whole month. Right now it's 2018, the month of October. It's only the 22nd. We've already grossed a little over 50 grand for the whole month, and we still have time to go. We're just thankful for you, thankful for Thrive and your mentorship, and we're really thankful that you guys have helped us to grow a business that we run now instead of the business running us. Just thank you times 1,000.
The Thrive Time Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet. You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop.
And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot-coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you. We go back 8 years ago. Think about the number of clients you had back then versus the number of clients you have now. As a percentage, what has been the growth over the past 8 years, do you think? We got to inspire somebody out there who just doesn't have the time to listen to their calls.
Okay, so Clay, it's like I would go up and down from about $10,000 a month up to about $40,000, but it's up and down roller coaster, and so now we've got it to where we're in excess of 100 clients.
That's awesome.
And so I would have anywhere from 5 clients to 20 clients on my own with networking, but I had no control over it. I didn't. Without the systems, you're going to be victimized by your own business.
For somebody out there who struggles with math, if you, let's say that your average number of clients was 30 and you go to 100, as a percentage, what is that?
I have doubled every year since working with you. So I've doubled in clients, I've doubled in revenue every year. It's 100% growth every year I've worked with. Now, so I'm looking, we've been good friends 7-8 years, and I've got doubled 5 times.
Which is just incredible. I mean, the first time you do it, that's one thing, but when you do it repeatedly,
yeah,
I mean, that's unbelievable.
We're working our Blessed Assurance off this year to double. We're planning on doubling again. We're incorporating some new things in there to really help us do it, but we are going to double again this year. I started coaching, but it would go up and down, Clay. That's when I came to you, as I was going up and down, and I wanted to go up and up instead of up and down. And so that's when it needed a system. So creating a system is you have nailed down specific steps that you're going to take no matter how you feel, no matter the results. You lean into them and you do them regardless of what's happening. You lean into them, and it will give you X number of leads. You follow up with those leads, turns into sales. Well, I tell you, it's if you don't have a script and you don't have a system, then every day is a whole new creation. You're creating a lot of energy just to figure out what are you going to do.
Right.
And the best executives, Peter Drucker is a father of modern management. He said the most effective executives make one decision a year. What you do is you make a decision, what is your system, and then you work like the Dickens to make sure you follow that system. And so that's really what it's all about. So with a script here, we have a brand new gal that just came in working for us. She nailed down the script, and she's been nailing down appointments. Usually we try to get one appointment for every 100 calls. We make 200 to 300 calls a day per rep.
Right.
And she's been nailing down 5 and 8 appointments a day.
Somebody out there is having a hard time.
That script.
So she's making how many calls a day?
She's making between 200 and 300 calls a day.
Whoa. And our relationship is weird in that we do. If someone were to buy an Apple computer today,
yeah,
and or let's say you bought a personal computer, a PC, the computer is made by, let's say, Dell, but then the software in the computer would be Microsoft, let's say, or Adobe or whatever that is. So I basically make the systems. And you're like the computer, and I'm like the software. It's kind of how I would describe our relationship. Yeah. Tim, I want to ask you this. You and I reconnected. I think it was in the year 2000 and what was it? Maybe 2010. Is that right? 2011, maybe, or no, maybe further down the road. Maybe 2013.
2012.
Okay, so 2012, and at that time I was 5 years removed from the DJ business, and you were how many years removed from tax and accounting software?
It was about 10, 11 years.
We met, how did we re-meet? What was the first interaction? There was some interaction where you and I first connected. I just remember that somehow you and I went to Hideaway Pizza. But do you remember when we first reconnected?
Yeah, well, we had that speaking thing that...
there it was. So it's Victory Christian Center. I was speaking there.
My name is Robert Redmond. I actually first met Clay almost 3 years ago to the day. I don't know if he remembers it or not, but I wasn't working with him at the time. I asked to see him and just ask him some questions to help, direct my life, to get some mentorship. But I've been working with Clay for now just over a year. The role I play here is a business coach, business consultant. I work with different businesses, implementing best practice processes and systems that I have learned here by working with Clay. And the experience working here has, to put it real plainly, has been just life-changing. I have not only learned new things and have gained new knowledge, but I have gained a whole new mindset that I believe wherever I end up will serve me well throughout the rest of my life. Since working with Clay, I have learned so much. I mean, I would like to say almost everything about business in terms of the different categories. I haven't learned it all, but I've learned all about marketing. I've learned about advertising. I've learned about branding. I've learned how to create a sales process for organizations in any industry. I've learned how to sell. I've learned how to create repeatable systems and processes and hold people accountable. How to hire people. It's almost like every aspect of a business you can learn. I have learned a lot in those different categories. And then, again, the mindset that I've gained here has been huge. Working here, you can't be a mediocre person. You are a call to a higher standard of excellence. And then as you're called to that standard here, you begin to see those outcomes in every area of your life, that standard of excellence that you want to implement no matter what you're involved in. I would like to describe the other people that work with Clay are people that are going somewhere with their life. Marshall in the group interview talks about how the best fits for this organization are the people that are goal-oriented. So they're on their own trajectory, and we're on our own trajectory. And the best fits are those people where there can be a mutually beneficial relationship, that as we pursue our goals and we help the business pursue those goals, the business helps us pursue our goals as well. And so I'd say people that are driven, people that want to make something of their lives, people that are goal-oriented, they're focused, and they're committed to overcoming any adversity that may come their way. Clay's passion for helping business owners grow their businesses it's unique in that I don't know if there's anyone else that can be as passionate. Whenever a business starts working with Clay, it's almost as like Clay is running that business in the sense that he has something at stake. He's just serving them. They're one of his clients, but it's as if he is actively involved in the business. Whenever they have a win, he's posting it all over his social media. He's shouting it across the room here at Thrive. He's sending people encouraging messages. He can kind of be that life coach and business coach in terms of being that a motivator and that champion for people's businesses. It's again unique because there's no one else I've seen get so excited about and passionate about other people's businesses. The kind of people that wouldn't like working with Clay are people that are satisfied with mediocrity. People that want to get through life by just doing enough, by just getting by. People who are not looking to develop themselves, people who are not coachable, people who think that they know it all and they're unwilling to change. I would say those are the type of people. In short, anyone that's content with mediocrity would not like working with Clay. So if you're meeting Clay for the first time, the advice I'd give you is definitely come ready to take tons of notes. Every time Clay speaks, he it gives you a wealth of knowledge that you don't want to miss. I remember the first time that I met Clay. I literally carried a notebook with me all around. I was looking at this notebook the other day, actually. I carried a notebook with me all around, and I just took tons of notes. I filled the entire notebook in about 3 or 4 months, just from being around Clay, following him, and learning from him. And then I would say, come coachable. Be open to learning something new. Be open to challenging yourself. Be open to learning and adjusting parts about you that need to be adjusted.